exercises, like choral warm-ups, okay? Where we start with choral warm-ups is usually with the breath. So put your hands on your stomach. The breath needs to come from here. It doesn't come from here. When you breathe, your shoulders should not move. So breathe in and try to push your hands out toward the opposite wall. And then punch it back in. How far can you get your hands to go in? Try it again. Push out. Yeah. One more time. Yeah. And sometimes what I do with younger kids even is we pretend, I don't know if this will work for high school students, but it might, just to like help them see how the breath contributes to really projecting the voice. What you can do is as you breathe in, you can kind of go to the floor. And then when you jump up, you let the breath out. You can also shout. You can have them shout their names. You can have them shout a nonsense syllable like ha. Let's try ha. So for breathing in, we're coming down. Ha! And the sound should come up right as you're reaching the top of the jump. Let's try it one more time. Ha! Yeah, that was better. Okay. So that if you see how that energy just kind of helps you just get really focused. I find that the physical stuff is just so important. Okay. And that's all I really want to do with vocal warm-ups because we don't have a ton of time. So if everybody could just grab a seat once. And we'll talk a little bit about why I think close reading and close attention to text is so important. What happens is if you're listening to the text, not just when you're memorizing, not just when you're practicing, but when you're performing, you're listening to the text. What happens is it puts you as a performer in the moment. This is something that actors talk about all the time, performing in the moment. And in practical terms, what this means is that you have your students memorize the text, or learn the text if you're going to have them read it, and you have them work on techniques to arrive at a delivery of the text. You do not ever ask them to memorize the delivery of the text. So you don't go, okay, well, I'm going to gesture here. I mean, even when I did that, it looked fake, right? And if the performer is in the moment at the time, the performer is going to believe what he or she is saying, and so will the audience. Okay? This idea of being honest and being believable is rooted in this idea of paying very close attention to text and really listening to it in the moment of the performance. This also has the effect of making every performance slightly different. Of course, you're gonna arrive at fairly similar deliveries if you work on a text a lot, but every performance should not be identical. It should have energy flowing through it and peaking in slightly different areas. So this is something that is really key to a lot of acting workshops and things like that. And I think it can be very, very useful as students are learning to perform poetry and perform it well, perform it honestly, like have something real come out of the performance. Right? Okay. And you know, if you've heard any of this stuff already, just stop and we'll go on to something else because I'm not sure what everybody's background is, and my own background, as I said, is a mishmash. So just keep going. All right. In order to work a little bit on this idea of being in the moment with the text, I'm going to have us all work on a line from King Lear. The line is this: "Come not between the dragon and his wrath." I'm not between the dragon and his wrath. Does anybody recognize where that's from in the play? It's a fairly famous line, but it's not like a out down spot or anything. Okay, and this is from the very first scene in King Lear when Cordelia has just given him the truth about the way she loves him, right? And he thinks she's being cold, and he disowns her. So he's furious. This is the moment when he disowns her, basically. Kent is trying to interfere on Cordelia's behalf, and he's just, oh no, don't get me started here. She's out, right? What would you say the general mood of this line would be? Like, what emotional tone are we setting?
Imperative? Commanding?
It's imperative, sure, it's a command. And how's Lear feeling? Angry. Right. He's commanding and angry. Okay, that's the general mood. I'm going to deliver the line using that general mood. "Come not between the dragon and his wrath." Now, how wrathful was that? It wasn't, was it? Why did that happen? It was because I was playing the mood and not the text. This is what actors call this generalization. They're very practical people, actors. So this question, what is the general mood of a line, or what is the general mood of a poem, is one that we probably never want to ask our performers. We want them to get specific with the text, okay? And the only way to really convey wrath is to do a close reading and start analyzing it, and then start just performing the lines that were present in that moment in the text. All right, so let's take a look at this. It's in the line comes in the texture of iambic pentameter, right? Is this pure iambic pentameter? How would we scan this? Where's the stressed syllables?
Not.
Not, for sure.
Ween.
Ween.
Drag.
Drag.
And.
Let's put this in parentheses, because and is conjunction, right? So it's maybe not as strong as, like, not or between. Yeah. And stress syllable, any others? Wrath. And I would argue, too, for a mild stress on come, because you're not going to say it, come not, between, you know. So what we have here, if we count come as a stress syllable, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stress syllables, and we don't have to stress and, right? So what we have here, in fact, is a slightly different construction here. Okay, so this is not pure iambic pentameter. Why do you think Shakespeare is varying the pentameter pattern here?
Emphasize the words that matter most.
Yes, because he's furious and he wants to emphasize certain words. So which words are the most important, do we think? If you had to pick 2 words out of this line.
Dragon and wrath.
Dragon and wrath. Okay. Let's focus first on that word wrath. In order to get a little bit more energy into our delivery of the line, what I'm going to do is I have my trusty pillow here, and I pray I won't upset anybody's coffee. I'll try to throw high. But I'm going to throw a pillow at you on the word wrath. Now I'm going to ask you to say the same line, and on the word wrath, throw the pillow to somebody else. Maybe we should stand for this, just to make sure we don't lay waste to the room. All right. So I'm going to say the line. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. On the word wrath, I will throw the pillow. This is the idea is to get more energy into that word wrath. Yeah? And then whoever receives the pillow is going to say the line again and fling the pillow on the word wrath. So you can do this also with a kickball or whatever. I think particularly for poetry recitations when we're not moving around the stage all that much, the upper body is more important. So that's why I'm using a pillow. Also, I don't want to destroy all the AV equipment. But anyway, let's try this. Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Yeah.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Make sure you're doing the flinging motion at the same moment that you say the word wrath, because that's what gives the word its energy. Yeah.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Yeah. That was wrathful. Thank you.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Yes.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.
Yeah.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath.